Yes, so as I mentioned to you, I will talk a little bit about Hungary. What are the opportunities for the students coming to Hungary? So basically, as you can see on my map, Hungary is in the middle of Europe. That's why we usually call it Hungary is in the heart of Europe. Mm. You can see the yellow littleish dot on my map. That's Hungary. It's a very small country. And why I'm highlighting this? Basically, I'm talking a little bit about from our students' experience, why it's important that basically we are in the center of Europe. Really easy to travel around Hungary. Students really like to take a short trip to Austria, to Croatia, to Slovakia, but I can mention to you Italy, France, Spain. So within a couple hours, you can be in a different country in Europe. Taking the train to Austria. Yes? Okay. I thought you were asking questions. I will just mute. Okay. Yes, so basically you can take the train going to Austria within 3 hours from Budapest. You can be in Vienna, but you can take a flight going to France, Italy as well, or Spain within 2-3 hours. And it's quite affordable still traveling from Budapest around Europe, I would say, or Germany. You can take the train as well. Within 6-7 hours you can be in Germany. Students really like traveling around Europe. And of course, really important to mention that Hungary is a safe country. Being in Budapest, living in Budapest is safe. I think Avzal can give you more insight if you are more interested about how is Budapest of course, from Avzal's perspective. But just for you to know that because we don't have the 2022 reports, but of course we have the 2021 report. According to the Global Peace Index, Hungary is among the 20 safest countries. Usually it's basically they are choosing from 163 countries. So we are in 2020, 2019. So over the past years, we were always amongst the 20 safest countries. Of course, I don't have the 2022 results, but soon I can share that with you as well. What is very important to know that we are a member of the European Union since 2004. For the student, what is even more important, that we are member of the Schengen zone. As I spoke a lot about traveling around Europe, so basically why is important that we are member of the Schengen zone. So once the student applies for the D-type visa and they successfully receive the D-type visa, they have 1 year to arrive to Hungary. And once they arrive to Hungary, they have 30 days to basically change for a so-called residency permit card. So basically they will get a residency permit card. It's a small plastic card. And with this small plastic card, with the residency permit card, they can freely travel around Europe, around the Schengen zone countries. As I already mentioned to you that they can travel. I like to say to the students when I meet them, when I have a chance to meet them, that basically with this residency permit card, you will have the same rights as I have, because I can travel to the same countries. So basically regarding traveling, I can travel to the same Schengen zone countries. If I'm going outside of Schengen zone, I will need a visa as well. We are, of course, a member of the NATO. It's a military organization. Right now, thankfully, it's not a hot topic to talk about, although, as I think many of you know that about the war between Russia and Ukraine, and Ukraine is our bordering country, but there is peace in Hungary. The situation is very relaxed. So we are not affected by the war, of course, economically, but as going all over the world, it has been, of course, changes as well that is affecting Hungary as well, but it's only economically. So there is still peace, and Hungary is safe. What opportunities the students will have coming and studying in Hungary? They can work 20 hours per week. They are allowed to work 20 hours per week. Let me just tell you that the average monthly living cost, I would say it's between 500-600 euros, but I think if you ask Avzal, he will be able to confirm it to you even better. But that's what you can account, if you have a student asking about the average monthly living cost, is basically with food and accommodation included. And as I mentioned to you, that students can work 20 hours per week. That means they will make about 200 to 300 euros. So I'm not saying that students can make so much money that they will be, very rich in living in Hungary. But I would say at least half of their average monthly living cost they can make. Of course, it depends on the program the student is coming for, on the schedule of the classes, of course on the students, but 20 hours per week is manageable and it's allowed. After graduation, students will have a 9-month stay-back option. So that means that they can search for a job once they graduate for a 9 months of period. But of course you can ask Afzal, because he was a student and now he is our employee with the university, so he can give you more insights on that. Again, a little bit highlighting that Hungary is an Eastern European country, but basically the way of living is very Western European, and if I have to compare with other Western European countries, still much more affordable. Just for you to understand, going in a cafe shop, for example in Italy, having the same cup of coffee, it will cost more than having a cup of coffee in Budapest. And of course, I promise that I will talk about the university, about Budapest Metropolitan University. On my slide, you can see the main campus building. Basically, here where most of the courses are happening. You might have seen it already, maybe on Instagram or Facebook, on some of the social media platforms, because students love to take a photo with the building. Whoever is interested in architecture, they love the building. It's an exactly round shape building. Yes, very important to know that we are the biggest private university in Hungary. So please note that we are a private university. We have about 6,500 students all over, and amongst these students, a little bit over 1,200 international students. And I can name any countries. The students are coming from about 100 countries. So there is a big diversity. I made a little map for you to see where our students are coming from, and a little bit, of course, I will have to update it with the 2022 numbers, because we just closed basically end of October, but it's very similar, just for you to see. And you can see that India is on the map. Within the past years, I would say that COVID has changed a lot, of course. There was a big influence, but India been always within our top markets, with a 5, 6, 7% percentage of our international students. Yes, and I promised you I will be talking a little bit about the programs. Of course, I will start with the bachelor level, so undergraduate programs, and then followed with the master level programs. So basically, you can see on my slides that if we are talking about bachelor level programs, I would say that for students coming from India, or we mentioned Bangladesh as well, that we have partners. So I would say that business administration and management is the most attractive. You can see basically, yes, very important. We have 2 intakes per year, September and February. So basically fall and spring intake. And you can see the tuition fees per semester. It's very important what you can see. And next to the name of the program, where you see 7 semesters, it means that the course will take 7 semesters. It depends on the course. So basically 3 years, 3.5, and you can see that tourism is a 4 years of program. Very important that we have art-related programs as well. They only start in September, so there is only a September start for any of the art-related programs. You can see the prices, for example, graphic design, which is 6 semesters, so basically 3 years program, and the price is 3,900 euros. You can see that that we are offering, for example, media design, motion picture studies, photography, visual representation, if there is 12 enrolled applicants in the program. So please keep in mind that we will need 12 students. The master level programs, very similar. Basically, we have 2 intakes, September and February. I would say that, again, if I have to I have to say about the statistics, management and leadership is one of the very attractive in our MBA program. You can see the tuition fee per semester. And again, please remember, it's 2 intakes, September and February, and our master level programs will be 4 semesters, all of them, so 2 years for the master level programs, and very similar for the art related master level programs. There is one intake only, they only start in September. And you can see the price, for example, for graphic design is 4,000 euros per semester, and this is a 2 years program. And again, for animation, cinematography, fashion, textile design, media design, photography, we can offer it if we have 12 enrolled applicants. So if we have 12 enrolled applicants, we can only open these programs then. Why, a little bit again, as I already spoke to you about why students, like already I told you about Hungary, but why the students are choosing us, Budapest Metropolitan University. Basically, besides the normal programs, we have a very unique training method. It's called the My Brand. Basically, it's a small classroom program that we are teaching the students how to represent themselves. So basically, we are getting the students ready how to be on a job interview once they finish. So it's more classroom teaching. Maybe Afzal can tell you more if you have any questions about My Brand, because he was studying and he can represent it better. But it's very important how they can argue within a small group, and of course it's very important once they're out of the university, how they can represent themselves. Let me talk a little bit about the application procedure. It's very important for you to know what are basically we have an online application portal. Let me just tell you that. It's called Dream Apply. You might have already know Dream Apply, very user-friendly. Basically, you just need to fill out students' information, first name, last name, country, address, mother's name. And then once you go through the form, upload the documents. Thankfully, the requirements document is not that long. Basically, the passport is a requirement and the transcripts. What do I mean about the transcripts? If you have bachelor level applicants, of course, the secondary level transcripts and diploma. If you have a master level applicant, of course, then the bachelor level transcript and diploma. And please remember that if you have art-related students who are basically interested in the art-related programs, we will need to have a portfolio. What is a requirement? IELTS is not a requirement. So please do remember that IELTS is not mandatory. What we say that for the undergraduate program, students should have at least level of 5.5 IELTS. And for the graduate programs, it's about IELTS 6.0 level. So please remember that also at the visa procedure, the IELTS is not a requirement. You don't need to have any type of English certificate, but the English level skills will be tested. Also at Budapest Metropolitan University at your application, I will talk a little bit about the Zoom interview, and also at the visa interview when the students are going for the visa interview. What is a requirement? It's a strict requirement. Please do remember that basically student must have a minimum of 60% of the grades. So that's a requirement not only from our part, but it's also a requirement from the embassy. So basically we have seen that below with educational transcripts, there is a visa rejection. So it's very important, minimum of 60% of the grades. age limit, very hard to say for the maximum, but we have a minimum. So basically for bachelor level programs, 17 years old, and for the master level programs, 23 years old. And why did I mention that? Not easy to say a maximum, because we cannot really say a maximum. It depends on the program. It depends on basically on the student's background. If they're applying for master level, do they have a work experience? Why there is a study gap? But maybe Afzal can talk about this a little more as well. So it's hard to say that, for example, if you tell me, okay, Nora, I have a 32 years old students would like to come for your master's program, we will need to check the documents individually. So I always say that let us check and we will advise. Of course, there should not be failed subjects in the past, so that's important to mention as well. And as I already said, that there is a Zoom interview as the application procedure. The first part of the Zoom interview is a math test. If students are applying for business administration, management, finance and accounting, commerce and marketing, tourism and catering, bachelor level applicants. Master level applicants, there is no math test. But please do remember that most of the cases at the visa interview, students will be asked to take a math test as well. Of course, how we can support you is that we have a sample math test that I can send it to you, so students can practice. They can practice. There is 25 practice questions. Of course, I will give you the answer keys. And basically on the math test at the Zoom interview, there will be 10 questions, and sorry, we just changed it. It will be a 30 minutes of a math test. Basically very similar questions as in the sample math test. Of course, they are not the same, but if the students are practicing and they can fulfill the sample math test, I can guarantee they will be able to fulfill our actual math test on the Zoom interview. But about this, you can ask Afzal as well. He has more insights on the math test as well. The second part, so basically you saw, sorry, I will just go back for 1 minute. That basically from the total of 10 questions, if the students can answer 4, then they basically pass the math test, and we will offer them a foundation business program. If they can answer 7 questions, you can see that the test was successful and they can go straight to the program. So if the students are successful in the math test, we will go on with the Zoom interview. And the second part of the Zoom interview basically will be a warm-up. Afzal and his team will be asking questions about the daily life, about hobbies, about the family. Of course, the third part will be the most important. So basically, it's about the personal motivation, which is very important. Why the students would like to study at Budapest Metropolitan University. They will have to have a basic knowledge about the program they are applying to. Like, as I already mentioned, that business administration and management is one of the most attractive for bachelor level applicants. I would say that Afzal and his team will be asking questions, for example, oh, if I gave you a lot of money to start a business with, what kind of business would you start? Or if you are living in New Delhi and you already have a business, then please just tell me what kind of business do you have, what are the advantages and disadvantages. And the fourth part will be very similar as the visa interview questions. So basically, why Hungary? What do you know about Budapest? Who will be your sponsor? Can you name any other universities in Hungary? And they will have to have a knowledge about Hungary and Budapest. That's very important. They will have very similar questions at the visa interview. As I spoke about the programs and you saw already prices, payments to be done, basically we have registration fee, enrollment fee, application fee, 150 euros, a dormitory deposit, which is 750 euros. but the students will get it back once they move out from the dormitory. We have a first month's rental fee to be paid. It depends on what type of room the student is choosing. We have an optional visa assistance fee, healthcare insurance. It's I would say it's not mandatory, but very highly suggested for the visa purposes as well, because at the visa interview, the officer will check that the student has a valid healthcare insurance for Europe, for Hungary. So making a sum calculation, bachelor level applicants will be paying about 6,000 to 7,000 euros, and master level applicants about 7,000 to 8,000 euros in order to get a seat to the university. So please do remember. And of course, we can offer you a 10% discount from the first semester's fees. For your students if they apply within 2 weeks after the webinar we are hosting. And yes, about the discounts now, basically, if your students are applying now, we have a super early bird discount, 15% until the end of November. So basically 31st of January. So please do remember, we have now a super early bird 15% discount. As I already spoke about the dormitories, these are the dormitories. Basically, we have 2 contracted dormitories. One of them has a pool downstairs, a gym. Afzal is living there. I always say at all my presentations that he's a mentor there, so students can book an appointment with Afzal. And if they would like to meet him and ask questions about the dormitory or any questions they have to Afzal, they can book an appointment and he is there, so they can ask questions from Afzal as well. We have a scholarship program. It's our own scholarship program. We are a private university. It's called the METU Excellence Scholarship Program. We are choosing 30 new students from our applicants. It's basically based on the Zoom interviews performance, their English level skills, and the transcripts. I usually say that if you have a strong applicant, if the student has at least 85% of the grades, please do let us know, and we will consider the students, of course, beforehand the Zoom interview, that we have a strong applicant. We have another scholarship program. It's basically called the Erasmus Plus Mobility Program. As you can see, we have over 200 partner universities that we are partnering with. And how this Erasmus scholarship works. Basically, you have a students coming to study at Budapest Metropolitan University. At the very first year, they will have, beside their normal program, they can choose a language to learn. Maybe they choose Italian, they will study 4 times a week and free of charge. And on the second year, they can go to Italy physically for an exchange semester to Italy. They will pay the low fees of Budapest Metropolitan University, and they will also get 500 euros per month as a scholarship. And what is very important, they can transfer their credits back. Also, we have a partnership with Northumbria University. It means that students can study at Budapest Metropolitan University for 2 years, and then for for 3 years, and finish 1 year at Northumbria. They get a UK degree. Or they have another chance that basically 2 + 2, they come study 2 years at Budapest Metropolitan University and 2 years at Northumbria University. So we have a good partnership with, and the campus is in London, and the students will get 30% of the tuition fees with Northumbria. By our knowledge and experience, maybe I can confirm, once the students are in Budapest, I think they are happy studying here. So not many students, we did not experience many students left and went to Northumbria, but it's a good to know that we are partnering with a prestigious university from the UK. And that was what I wanted to share about the university. If you may have questions, please do ask us. That was the short presentation I really wanted to share with you.
Yeah, Nora, my question is there.
Yes.
For example, if a student is studying with Metropolitan, with our university, and after 2 years, who will be taking care of the visa part? Because afterwards they need to apply for the visa. and will METU will help them, Budapest Metropolitan University will help them, guide them with all the process?
Yes, so we have basically a student information center and also a career center. So we are here to help the students absolutely with the procedures. Yes.
So what will be the success ratio? What is the success ratio after studying 2 years or 3 years? What is the success ratio that they will be finally reaching to the Northumbria University campus over there?
Very hard to say, because to be honest, I think we had 1 or maximum 2 students over the past 5 years that would transfer to
Okay, majority of student depends on their interest, whether they are going or not. That
yes,
depends.
To be honest, they prefer to stay in Budapest. That's what
I can understand.
Yes.
Because they are saving the money, because London is quite expensive as compared to Hungary. I know with the same pricing they can go with that.
Yes, and maybe Avzal can tell you that maybe once you are in Budapest, you enjoy the stay and you enjoy the university life and the students' life, and maybe you are not ready to transfer to a different country and different university.
Okay, right. Okay, so I can say my partners that anybody have some sort of question, so they are most welcome to ask from Nora, because she's looking after the things. And do anyone, Janvi, from your team, if somebody is there, so who need to ask the questions, so they're free to do so.
Yes, anyone? If anyone have any questions, then tell us. Hello.
I think Nora has Nora has tell us in such a manner that all questions has been come in a slides, and we have asked almost the questions has been over there. Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I think if somebody have, they can raise their hand. They can ask the things.
Yeah, Mehrun, please.
Yes, Mehrun.
Yeah, Mehrun. Okay, so her question is what? Okay, she has not.
Okay, I can see Zoom interview part. Could you please explain it again? Yes, of course. Yes, okay. Absolutely. So basically, as part of our application procedure, we have a Zoom interview. I will go back in the slides. And basically, the Zoom interview, it's about, I would say, a 40 minutes longer Zoom interview, if I'm not mistaken, but Avzal can correct me. And the Zoom interview will start with a math test. If the students apply the bachelor level applicants, so basically undergraduate, and business administration, finance, commerce, marketing, and tourism and catering, so they will need to take a math test. If you have a master level applicant, they don't need to take the math test, as I mentioned already. And after the math test, once the math test is successful, there will be the actual Zoom interview asking about the students' daily life.
Nora, I need to extend the meeting. I need to extend the meeting with the same link. Everyone can join, because it is shown on that it's hardly 1 minute. So when you will telling, so that will be again skipped. So let me extend the time.
Okay.
So I will do with all of us, then join with the same link. I can say all of us can join with the same link. Okay. So I am doing so. I'm doing so.
Absolutely.